First, become a high-value man with purpose. The first step in becoming a high-value man is knowing what you want from life. It doesn't matter whether you're a young guy starting his first job or the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, every man should have a goal that he wants to achieve by this time next year. Having a purpose is about having personal standards and a desire to improve upon what you already have in your skill set constantly. A high-value man with a purpose understands his successes, works to improve on his flaws, and at all times demonstrates good personal standards. Become this man and you'll have a far greater understanding of the journey ahead of you. Second, demonstrate resilience. A man needs to be strong for his family, his colleagues, and for himself. I'm not talking about physical strength. Sure, benching 225 is pretty damn impressive, but it's not necessarily going to help you when it comes to your success as a man. I'm talking about emotional and social strength. An individual's ability to keep his chin up in the face of adversity and work through the hard times rather than cower beneath them. Knowing how to better yourself in this way is a great starting point for most men. It's not about becoming Superman overnight, it's all about working towards a resilient frame of mind. Maybe you want to support your wife through hard times at work. Maybe you want to become the rock at your church so that people turn to you when the chips are down. Whatever your situation may be, the fact remains, a man should be able to show strength when the occasion calls for it. Hold your head high, rise to help those around you and work through any problems with dignity and strength. Third, communicate well as a high-value man. Let's eat, Antonio. Now I know what you're thinking. Casual cannibalism isn't exactly the mark of a high-value man. Stick with me, this proves why appropriate communication is important. In this instance, what initially seems like a bizarre phrase can be easily clarified with a simple comma. Let's eat, Antonio becomes an invitation to a nice meal. Let's eat, Antonio. Now I know this is a bit of a fun example, but plenty of misunderstandings can occur through poor communication. A real-life example that a lot of men struggle with is how to communicate through text. For instance, an email that you think sounds like friendly banter might sound aggressive and sarcastic to the recipient. A high-value man can communicate appropriately, which means reading the room and understanding what is and isn't appropriate within his current environment. Fourth, foster healthy relationships. There's nothing more dangerous to a man's state of mind than a toxic relationship. As human beings, we tend to be very impressionable when it comes to other people's emotions. In fact, psychologists Hess and Fisher study emotional mimicry. Why and when we mimic emotions suggests that the perception of a specific emotion display leads to the imitation of that display. This can be a problem for any man striving to be the best version of himself. You may be the cheeriest guy on your block, but if you surround yourself with negative people, chances are you'll begin to take on some of that negative emotion yourself. The best way to avoid this? Simple. Ensure that all of your relationships are healthy and emotionally beneficial. Understanding how to better yourself through careful consideration of your relationships is the key to becoming a high-value man. Fifth, be consistent. Consistency is key. What's another word for consistency? Stability. To truly present yourself as a high-value man, people need to know that they can rely on you. Let me ask you this, would you feel safe driving a car where the brakes only worked 50% of the time? Of course not. That's a recipe for disaster. Trust and dependency work in a very similar way. If you aim to gain the trust and dependency of those around you, they need to know you're going to be there when they need you the most. If you're flaky and unreliable, the fact is you're going to find it hard to win the trust of those around you. In short, make sure you fulfill the promises you make, stick to your decisions, and demonstrate reliability when it comes to making plans and following through with them.